May 26. 604. Augustine alias Austin, first Archbishop of Canterbury, died. To Christianity. 735. Bede the Venerable, a learned English monk, died. He passed his life in severe study, and wrote an ecclesiastical history from Julius Caesar to his own age. 946. Edmund I, King of the Anglo-Saxons, killed by an outlaw named Leov, at the age of 23. Elegance and splendor, whence he was called the Munificent. 1416. Jerome of Prague made the fearless declaration that he was a supporter of the doctrines of Wycliffe and Huss, for which he suffered martyrdom. 1512. Bayezid II, Sultan of Turkey, died on the journey to Dinidoka, his birthplace, whither he was retiring, having resigned the government to his son, Selim, who had rebelled against him. 1536. Francisco Berni, a Tuscan poet, died. He is the principal writer of Italian jocose poetry, which has ever since retained the name of Poesia Bernesqua. 1568. An estafade of the Welsh bards and minstrels held at Kairos by commission of Queen Elizabeth, when the great prize of the silver harp was adjudged to Simon A. P. Williams Apician. 1595. Philip Neri, founder of the Orderians, died. He was noted for his benevolence, and established a hospice for the accommodation of pilgrims, which has become one of the finest in Rome. 1608. Sir Thomas Sackville, that great servant of Apollo and the state, interred with pomp at Westminster. Richard Baker, both for the king's profit and the good of the subject. 1623. Francis Anthony, an English chemist, died, who took advantage of his knowledge to impose upon the credulous and unwary, by selling his panacea of potable gold. 1637. Fort Mystic, garrisoned by a large body of Indians under their Grand Sachem Sassacus, taken by assault, and about 70 wigwams burned. 1689. Battle at the Pass of Killiecrankie, remarkable for the defeat of King William's troops by the Highlanders under Lord Dundee. 1685. John Marsham died. A learned English chronologist. 1703. Samuel Pepys, a learned Englishman, died, celebrated for his collection of valuable documents, etc. 1746. Thomas Southern, an English dramatist, died. 1766. John Lawrence Bertie, a learned monk of Tuscany, died, author of about 20 quarto volumes of divinity. 1781. Congress resolved to establish the Bank of North America, being the first regularly established bank in the country. 1782. William Emerson, an eminent English mathematician, died. His knowledge was very extensive, and his works accurate. 1784. Musical festival in Westminster Abbey, in commemoration of the birthday of Handel. 525. 275 vocal, 250 instrumental. The sum produced was over $12,000. 1794. The French Convention decreed that no quarters be given to British and Hanoverian soldiers. 1795. The Ottoman Porte acknowledged the French Republic. 1798. Battle of Tara and defeat of the United Irishmen. 1799. James Burnet, Lord Monboddo, died. He was one of the Lords of Session in Scotland, and a philosophical writer of considerable learning, but of peculiar notions. 1809. Francis Joseph Haydn, the celebrated musical composer, died. 1811. James Pulteney, a wealthy English baron, died, whose income was $250,000 per annum. 1813. Cannonade between Forts George and Niagara, and bombardment from all the batteries. 1814. Joseph Ignace Guillotin, a French physician, who revived the use of the instrument known as the maiden, died at Paris, aged 76. 1824. Capel Loft, an English poet and miscellaneous writer, died in Italy. 1831. Battle of Ostrolenka, between 55,000 Russians and 20,000 Poles, in which the latter were defeated. 1836. William Young Otley, keeper of the prints in the British Museum, died, and is honorably known as an artist, a collector, and an author. 1838. William Butler died at Philadelphia, aged 108. 1840. William Sidney Smith, Admiral of the Red, died at Paris, aged 76, on various occasions by his talents and courage. 1844. Jacques Lafitte, the French banker, died. 1848. By a fire which occurred in the omnibus establishment of Kip and Brown, New York, 130 horses were burned. 1852. Samuel Nott, for a long time regarded as the patriarch of the clergy of New England, died in Franklin, Connecticut, aged 98. In 1780, and 2 years after settled at Franklin, where he spent the remainder of his protracted life. He was also engaged in the business of instruction, and was a maker of public men. He was injured by a burn, and died of the effects of the accident. 1853. The yellow fever made its appearance at New Orleans. The number of victims during the season was 8,186, the greater part of whom died in August and September. 1854. Angus Patterson, for a long time President of the Senate of South Carolina, died at Barnwell, in that state. 1854. A great crowd in Boston, excited by inflammatory speeches, attacked the courthouse and attempted to rescue the Negro, Anthony Burns, under arrest as a fugitive from servitude. A special assistant of the United States Marshal was killed, but the object of the riot was not affected. 1855. And Imperial UK's ordered that all the serfs in certain of the Russian states, between the ages of 30 and 35, should be enrolled.